Well, I think we need to see, let's see how the meeting goes. We don't believe that the Mugabe regime is a legitimate government. We think that because they ran a sham election last week in which they intimidated every voter who would have voted against Mugabe, then that the African leaders had an opportunity at this week's meeting to really dig into these issues, because one of the single greatest challenges of regional instability in southern Africa is Zimbabwe. And let's just see how the meeting goes. I think that they do understand, a lot of those leaders in Africa understand and did speak out before the sham election. So I think we should let the meeting take place and see what happens. Despair. Well, again, I think that sanctions would be targeted to the leader and his cronies, and then those who support the regime.
Look to see what the AU heads of state have done. Again, though, I think you'll be seeing actions taken in a variety of forums, both directly by the United States as well as in conjunction with our international partners in the UN and elsewhere.
Cardinal Walter Kasper during his official visit to Russia.
Two million people in Zimbabwe did elect President Mugabe as president of Zimbabwe, and we carried on our elections as per the laws of the country, where it required that after the 29th of March, there was no outright winner. There was a need of a runoff, which we did as provided for in our constitution. But there will be clause. I think the Americans won't be interested in having anything to do. The issue of sanctions, it's a non-issue. I'm not even bothered. I won't even lose sleep over it, because they have no case to justify that before the Security Council. Really, if they are honest, there's no case to ask the Security Council to impose sanctions on Zimbabwe. We are not a threat to international peace and security. And furthermore, within the workings between the United Nations and regional organizations like the AU, the South Africans are engaged in mediation in Zimbabwe. What's the point of spoiling an environment where somebody is mediating and you want to complicate the situation? For the holidays, I think the American ambassador wouldn't want to be tied down in New York on this issue. The South African and the Chinese, I think they are very objective. They are looking at the issues. We don't have a quarrel with South Africa. We don't have any quarrel with the Chinese. So they are more objective. Whereas when you look at the UK and the United States and members of the European Union, they are in one. Then they are synchronizing their actions based on our quarrel on the land issue between us and the United Kingdom. My government is quite happy with the mediation of President Thabo Mbeki of South Africa. He's an African leader. I don't know what other leaders he wants to bring on board, but as far as we are concerned, the current mediation efforts are quite adequate. They've addressed the issues of Zimbabwe. Even when we had the elections in March, it was the direct result of the mediation efforts of the South African president, and we are quite confident that he has the interests of the region at heart. But there will be clause. I think the Americans won't be interested in having anything to work over most of them. President Mugabe is the president of Zimbabwe. He was inaugurated on Sunday, and he is president of Zimbabwe. He was elected by over 2 million people. There's nothing that can change that. They might wish otherwise, but the reality on the ground is he is the president of Zimbabwe.